Okay, in this video we're going to look again at parallel lines, which look like a railroad track, perpendicular lines, which looks like a T, where the top of the T joints, and also lines that are neither parallel nor perpendicular. In other words, that have a cross, something like this. Okay, so let's look at that. First of all, if two lines are parallel, the slopes of the two lines are the same. In other words, if I have y equals 2/3 x plus 5 and y equals 2/3 x minus 2, this line and this line are going to be parallel to each other because the slope, which is the 2/3, is the same for both of the equations. And it's going to make your lines parallel, okay? So the next one. If two lines are perpendicular, the slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. In other words, y equals 2/3 x plus 2, y equals negative 3/2 x plus 5. These will be perpendicular to each other because the slope of this one is the opposite reciprocal of that one. Another way to tell if they're going to be perpendicular is to multiply the two slopes. 2/3 times negative 3/2 is equal to negative 6/6, which is equal to negative 1. If the product of the two slopes is negative 1, then you also know you have perpendicular lines. If neither this condition nor this condition is met, then you have lines that are neither perpendicular nor parallel. So, let's look at an example and see what happens. Okay. Two sets of ordered pairs. And let's check and see if they form perpendicular, parallel, or neither on their lines. So here's my first ordered set of pairs. Negative 3, negative 9, and 0, negative 3. Here is the second set of ordered pairs. 0, negative 4, and 2, negative 3. Now, let's see what happens here. Let's find the slope of my first line. So this one is line 1. And the slope is going to equal, remember, it's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So we're going to have x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So therefore, we have negative 3 minus a negative 9 and 0 minus a negative 3. So this is going to equal 3 plus 9 over 0 plus 3 equals 12 over 3, which equals 4, or 4 over 1. So that's the slope of the first line. Now let's look at the slope of the second line. Line number 2 is coming from that second set of ordered pairs. So again, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So for the second line, the slope is going to equal negative 3 minus a negative 4 over 2 minus 0. So this is going to be a negative 3 plus 4 over 2 minus 0, which is 2. And this will be 1/2. Are these slopes the same? No, they're not. Are they opposite reciprocals? No, they're not. Therefore, this one is neither parallel nor perpendicular. So this is a case of neither. Okay, so now let's look at another example. Here we've got negative 1, negative 7, and 4, negative 3. My second ordered pair is negative 6, negative 2, and negative 10, 3. So let's see what happens on these. Okay, so line 1, we have m is equal to negative 3 minus a negative 7 over 4 minus a negative 1, which is going to equal 3 plus 7 over 4 plus 1, which is 5, making 10 over 5, or 2 over 1. Now let's look at line number 2. M is equal to 3 minus negative 2 and negative 10 minus negative 6, which is going to equal 3 plus 2 over negative 10 plus 6. This is going to be 5, and negative 10 plus 6 is a negative 4. Well, they're opposite, but they are not opposite reciprocals. Let's see, did I do something wrong? I dropped off my negative. Negative 3 plus 7 is actually a positive 4. That's good. 4/5. I made a mistake because I forgot to carry my negative over. You see how easy it is to make mistakes with your negatives if you're not careful. Now notice, this is a negative 5/4. This is a positive 4/5. These are opposite reciprocals of each other. Therefore, this is a perpendicular lines. Okay, I hope that helps you to understand what that's requiring on that. One other thing we're going to look at on this video is looking at slope in a different way. You have a couple application problems for your slope. One of them talks about a ski trail. The ski trail starts at 10,784 feet and it ends at 9,057 feet. And it says its run is 14,598 feet. Okay, so what's happening here? Well, this is the height or the rise This is the run. So to find the rise, we're going to have to subtract the ending from the beginning. And so you're going to end up with 10,784 minus 9,057, which is equal to 1,727, 1,727. And this is the rise of it. And remember, your slope is equal to rise over run. And my run was given. So this one is going to be 1,727 over the run, which is 14,598 feet. So this is equal to 0.118. And the question is, what is the slope of the trial? And they want that slope in percent. So I'm going to have to change my 0.118 to percent by multiplying it by 100%, which is going to give me 11.8%. So this slope of this particular problem, this ski run has an 11.8% slope. And the important thing on this is they classify ski runs according to black diamond, blue, and some other things. And so the ski slope is determined by that slope is what determines the ski slope. So on your problem, you will not only find this, but then you will choose which one of the categories does this particular ski slope run into. And the last problem I want to look at is a triangle. It's a right triangle, like a handicapped ramp or something. And it goes 2 feet up in the air for 22 feet in length. So again, remember your slope is equal to rise over run. This is the rise, this is my run. And so my slope of this ramp is 2 over 22, which equals 1 foot over 11. So for every 1 foot up in the air, it's going length 1 foot. So 11 feet, 1 foot, and then you have another 11 feet and another foot, and that gives you your 22 feet with 2 feet up in the air. And then it wants to know what is the percentage of increase of this particular ramp. So you'll divide 1 by 11, and you'll end up with 0.09, and it repeats. So that means 0.90909. So turning that into a percentage will be move times 100, move the decimal 2 places, 9.09. If you round to the 10th place value, this then will be 9.1%. So that particular ramp has a 9.1% rise. So that's all there is on this lesson, and I hope you have a fun time with it. It has a lot of lines and drawings and comparing things. It's a fun lesson. So have fun with it.